Happy Father's Day, everybody. It's the Buko Boys.
Happy Father's Day.
What's up, everybody? It's me, your co-host, Dale.
And I'm DVO.
And we're the Buko Boys.
And it is Father's Day, so...
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
We're recording this on Father's Day, and we'll publish it tonight. And hopefully you all fathers have had a wonderful Father's Day.
And, I don't know, do most people celebrate Father's Day all weekend or just on the one day?
I guess just the one day. I don't know anyone that does like a week. I mean, maybe they go out for the weekend for Father's Day, but they can just celebrate on Sunday, the Father's Day, the Day of Fathers.
Yeah. Well, I had an adventure-filled weekend.
Did you now?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Tell us about it.
All right. Well, let's Friday. Start with Friday. We did something together, an adventure.
Yes.
A ghost adventure, some would say.
Yes.
We investigated, again, the Benson Grist Mill.
The Ghost Adventures crew was recently there of April this year.
Well, the episode aired.
End of last year, end of 2020, and then it aired April of this year. And so we watched the episode, and we went and investigated this past weekend.
And, we'll talk about that more at the end of the episode.
Yes.
But you know what
Interesting things happened.
You know what else happened on Friday?
What?
Kind of rock chip.
Are you sure it's a rock chip? Now,
it was a boulder chip.
Oh my gosh,
It's pretty bad. So it not only hit my
on your way to the investigation.
No, it happened earlier in the day.
Oh, it did? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Probably about one signing before last.
Okay, people know what that means. You mean an appointment.
Yeah. So so out of my busy day of appointments, probably the appointment before last.
Okay.
Is when it happened, and a semi was changing lanes in front of me, and it was one of those trucks that carry rocks from construction sites.
Got it.
So I don't know if it fell out of the truck and bounced and hit me, or if it just, as it was changing lanes, kicked it up at me.
What size? Did you see it good? Was it like the size of a quarter?
It's probably the size of a fist.
No shit?
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, was that big?
It was huge.
Did you see it coming?
Yeah, I did.
You were like freaked out?
I hit the record on the dash, so I might have it on my dash cam too.
Oh.
It's a massive thing. Anyways.
Ooh, I didn't know it was that big.
It was big. Anyways, where it hit was right at the top of my windshield, which also hit the top glass. So the top of my car is a big sheet of glass.
So you can tell me. So it's a Tesla, and it's not,
the whole roof is glass.
Yeah, the whole roof is glass.
So the windshield's a piece of glass. Then you have the whole roof is a piece of glass, and then you have the back window is another piece of glass. So it hit right on the edge of the windshield and cracked the top piece of glass. Oh, it sucks so bad. And you know what pisses me off about it?
What?
They stopped making that color changing glass that I have on there too. So I don't even know if I'll be able to have that cool color changing glass that I like to snap about so much. I like to snap about that weird shit like that. So anyways, that sucked. That really sucked.
That does suck.
So that ended up that it cracked and went like pretty much across the top of the windshield and then down the middle of the windshield. Oh, it's so bad. So I have an appointment on Tuesday to get that replaced. So that sucked.
On my way to the Benson Grist Mill for investigation, I was on my motorcycle, and a car in front of me I was in the right lane, they were in the left lane. They merged into the right lane. While they merged, they ran over some broken up rubber from a blown out tire, and that started flipping around. I had to kind of dodge and sway around that, but that kind of worried me a little bit. People, watch how you drive. Don't drive like idiots, please.
Oh, yeah. I'll talk about, you know what happened last weekend? Some idiots pulling trailers that don't remember they're pulling trailers. Okay. And then they drive not
like
realizing.
Normally,
they would normally drive, except now you got 20 extra feet of shit behind you.
Yeah,
and
100 pounds plus.
Trying to change lanes right after you pass somebody and change lanes is fine if you're not carrying a trailer. But if you pass somebody and change lanes while you're carrying a trailer, you're going to wipe that person out, you idiots. Happened to me twice last week. 2 times.
Bad drivers.
So it's horrible. I had to slam my brakes, honk the horn at them, and then they act like they're in the right and I'm in the wrong. And I'm like, are you, that's just one thing I've noticed about Utah. It doesn't matter how in the wrong they are. If you honk at them for something, they will flip you off and act like they're mad at you.
Right.
There's no hey, the light's green, dummy. Here's a little honk to remind you. And they go,
which is what the horn is for.
Right, and then whoever's holding up traffic would normally go, oh, sorry for holding up everybody, I'll go on my way. No, they flip everyone off and then they just sit there because somebody honked at them.
Then you double honk.
Oh, the people here are crazy. So, anyways, that was Friday's events. Saturday, besides doing a little bit of work, went what's that called? Zip lining. I went zip lining.
Zip lining.
Down one of the longest zip lines in America.
That's pretty cool. How long was it?
You know what? I don't have those facts.
How long was it?
I don't have those facts. I just know where it was. It was at Sundance.
Okay.
It was my first time at Sundance.
Oh, you've never been there?
I've never been there before. So, the zip lining was really cool. It was hot as shit though. It is really hot right now in Utah. It's like pushing 100 degrees every day.
Like I said last week, we're in a drought.
Yeah, we are in a drought, and it's been pushing a heat wave that's been pushing 105 some days. It's been crazy hot this early in the year. But anyways, going up there in the mountains, it's usually a lot cooler. It was still hot as balls up there.
That's why, like last summer, I said we spent almost every other weekend up in Summit in Wasatch County, which is higher elevation near Park City. Spent a lot of time up there.
It's like 10 degrees cooler
It's
usually.
10 degrees cooler. We went like in the early morning or evenings. It was even better.
So the time of our zip lining event was at 4:20, which is like one of the hottest.
Which is your favorite time of the day?
Which is my favorite time of the day. Not only that, but it's hot as hell that time of day. So we were in the sun. We had to take this ski lift all the way to the top.
Very cool.
It was cool. It was very scenic. It was beautiful up there.
You cried.
Who doesn't? But it was a long ride up there. But you're in the sun a lot, so we were getting baked, and we were wearing these helmets because you have to wear helmets.
Uh-huh.
And we're wearing all the gear going up there, and I was just afraid of getting the stupid ugly tan line across my forehead. But we get to the top and we do a little demo. The demo was just like a 100-foot drop where you practice the brakes.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then we take this one zip line from there. It's a short one. You get a good feel for it. But there's like 4 or 5 zip lines up there.
Okay.
And it's like if you do all of them, I think it's like a 4 or 5 hour event.
Wow. Okay.
We just did 2. So it comes with a demo, and then a short zip line, and then the longest zip line.
Okay.
And that was like a 2-hour plus event. Just that.
What's the time-consuming part of it? Because I'm assuming zip lining you're fast, so it's over pretty quickly somewhat?
The time-consuming part is riding the chairlifts up.
Okay.
And then waiting your turn to go down the zip line. Because you're kind of in a group of other people.
Got it.
And then you can only go 2 at a time.
And so what did you scream when you went down the zip line?
Cowabunga dudes! And then, on the big one though, so after we do the short one, then we go to the big one. That one was badass. You go for a while. And I was talking to one of the zipline operators.
Okay.
And they were trying to say stuff like, they were trying to get to know people, I guess being corny. So I was it was my buddy's birthday, that's why we went, and then his daughter. And then it was just me. And the whole time we were just goofing off with his daughter saying that we're her gay dads.
Oh, okay.
It was hilarious.
Nice. I like it.
It was the funniest thing. And then when we get the first zip line, one of the ladies operators were trying to like talk to us, get to know us.
Yeah.
So she was talking to my friend's daughter, and she was like, "Tell us something about you, something unique." And she's like, "Well, I'm a twin." And she's like, "Oh, really? Okay." So she says that, and then she talks to my buddy. "So tell me something unique about you." And he points to me. "This is my twin." So it was just funny. And then we're like, "No, we're just kidding. What's unique about us is we're her gay dads."
That's hilarious.
And then, but anyways, then I tell her that I was just joking around, but saying something about being a paranormal investigator.
Uh-huh.
So then she starts asking me questions about paranormal stuff.
Okay.
And then on the next zip line, she's telling she ends up moving over to the other one where we're at next to help out. She tells that other operator when I'm up there, like, "Hey, this guy's a paranormal investigator." So then they start talking to me more about it in front of everybody. And then they tell me about Sundance being haunted.
Okay.
So I need to go back and talk to somebody. They referred me to a couple people to talk to over there.
Oh, nice.
I didn't have time after the zip lines to go talk to anybody, but I do.
You mean you didn't make time?
I really didn't have time. I had many things to do.
Okay.
So I do want to go back up there because I do want to do the zip lines again when my daughter gets back. That would be a lot of fun. Plus, it'll be a little cooler. Well, I want to do it when it's like towards the end of summer, That way it's a little cooler up
Oh,
there.
heck yeah.
That sun was beating down pretty bad. So I'm gonna do it a little when it's a little cooler, and then I will talk to the people they told me to talk to, and find out some cool stories.
Very cool. That's cool.
Well, anyway, so that was that. After that, then I met with some friends for another birthday. A lot of birthdays in June. Tons of. What month is? What's 9 months before June?
I don't know. Fall, August, September.
It's a lot of humping going around that time.
Yeah, maybe
There's a lot of June
It
babies.
starts getting cold, so maybe that's why. Let's see.
Yeah, what's 9 months before?
September. So I don't know.
Back to school time, maybe?
Maybe.
So anyways, and then today, woke up really early to do some fishing. That's my weekly church.
Okay.
Caught a ton of fish though. Caught a ton of fish this morning.
Excellent.
So it was a great weekend for me.
I'm sure the listeners are excited for you.
I hope you all love that because it was a great time. But anyways, another thing happened this weekend.
Okay.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth became a national holiday.
So it's a holiday now.
Yes.
So what's strange is that they just kind of did it spontaneously.
Like the day before.
Just, hey, guess what, everybody? Today, new holiday.
It's a national holiday.
Guess what? Y'all gotta go home from work now.
Yeah, y'all get paid.
Kind of crazy that they did it that soon without, like, maybe a year in advance so people can kind of put it on calendars and, like, if they're going to be giving people the days off, then they can be included into the calendar that these people are not going to be working, the post office, the banks.
Yeah. I mean, granted, yes, it should be some type of holiday. Or some, if you, actually maybe we should say what Juneteenth is in case you don't know. So June 19th was, I believe, when slavery ended. Am I correct in that?
No, it's when the slave owners in Galveston, Texas did not tell the slaves that they were free yet.
Okay.
And then when the emancipation happened, they were still working as slaves for years.
Oh.
And then when they finally freed them, that's when Juneteenth became, like, that's what it's known for.
Oh, so it happened on June 19th of some year.
I don't know when, yeah.
Okay.
Soon, like a few years after slavery had, maybe it was more than a few, actually. I think it was a lot of years.
Anyway, the end of slavery is a good thing.
Yeah.
Let's say that. And maybe a celebration is in order. But maybe a heads up of some sort, because obviously it affects a lot of industries, government industries. We are both in somewhat of the mortgage industry.
So banking is affected.
Banking and the mortgages. So a lot of things get affected by it. So again, good holiday or some, doing something for the end of slavery is a good thing. But maybe heads up on putting it into a effect.
Be like, hey, next year, guys, this is happening.
Yeah, so
get ready.
Yeah, so we approve this starting next year.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of the day of,
the day before,
screwed up a lot of appointments.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, but it's good. Yeah, ending slavery is a good thing.
But yeah, it was kind of. So I wonder how. I mean, is that going to be another national holiday for a lot of people for their PTO and vacation?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is like it's so new. I think no one has an answer for that. It just happened 3 days ago.
Maybe if they did a year in advance so people could talk about it.
Yeah, they could put something in order into their business plans. Yeah, exactly.
If we were in charge, things would be a lot better around here.
A lot smoother. But I don't believe in working in government, so
I would never. This is my own government that I created.
On our own little island?
Yep. Buko Island.
That would be that'd be a good name for it, actually. I like that name.
It would work, actually. It would work really well.
Yes, Buko Island. Welcome to Buko Island.
Ran by the Buko Boys.
No, we've learned how to run this from Epstein. He taught us how to run an island.
God, no.
Oh, I will.
Get me off this island.
Yes, so... Yeah, Juneteenth. Good idea. Just bad
execution.
Yeah, execution.
Execution was poorly done.
Poor. So, let's talk about celebrity boxing again. So, this past weekend, there was another boxing match, celebrity boxing match, between a professional boxer, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
He boxed this weekend?
Yes, against Anderson Silva, one of the greatest MMA
Why
fighters.
wasn't this advertised?
Yeah, well, I follow MMA, so I've known about it.
Well, I would have normally seen something like this on, advertised on Facebook or something.
I don't know. Maybe you're in the wrong circles.
I mean, I follow a lot of
Fishing
boxing stuff.
You follow too much fishing and not enough cool stuff.
Fish boxing. Have you heard of fish boxing?
Yeah, I used to do it back in the days. It's so funny.
Oh,
It's true.
Your punches sound like macaroni noises. Oh man.
So yeah, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He came in 2 pounds overweight, 2.4 pounds overweight. Actually,
He likes smoking pot. That guy.
and so that means munchies. That
Yeah, that's what it was.
So
He just wakes up to eat and goes back to sleep.
he came over almost 2.5 pounds overweight, so he had to give up 100,000 of his purse, and then he ended up losing. Anderson Silva, UFC, one of the greatest UFC fighters or MMA fighters of all time. He defended his title more than almost anyone has ever defended their title.
Anderson Silva is a good stand-up fighter, though.
No, he's a jiu-jitsu artist, mostly because he's from Brazil.
But his long-ass arms.
He's got really long limbs, and obviously he did a lot of. He's a good striker. Yeah, he is a good striker. He's knocked people out.
He's not afraid to break bones on your face.
No, and so he won the fight this past weekend. So, I made the claim last time we were kind of complaining when Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather fought. I'm like, hey, a boxer's going to win every time a boxing fighter's going to win every time in a boxing match, and an MMA fighter's going to win every time in an MMA fight. Well, apparently I was wrong this past week.
You were so wrong.
Anderson Silva whooped him.
I didn't know. I wish you would have told me about this so I could have looked it up a little bit.
Jake Paul, the younger brother of Logan Paul, he has a new fight coming up with Tyron Woodley, and I think we talked about this too. So that's coming up. And again, I hate that they have these pro fight records. Like I said, Jake Paul's 3-0, but he's never fought a professional boxer. He's fought another YouTuber.
But is it just 3-0 exhibition?
No, the Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather was an exhibition fight. So Floyd Mayweather's last fight was Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He's had a couple other fights since then, and they've all been exhibition fights.
Yeah.
So there's only a clear-cut winner if somebody knocked the other person out. If it goes all full rounds, it's just fight's over.
Yeah.
It's just over. There's no scoring.
There's no winner.
Yeah, there's no winner because it's an exhibition fight. But if somebody knocks another person out, then it's okay. Well, obviously they won. The other person's sleeping on the mat. And so anyway, I hate that. I hate that they have these pro records when they haven't fought a pro fighter. Drives me crazy. So like I said, Jake Paul, he beat a YouTuber, he beat a retired NBA player, he beat a retired MMA fighter, and now he's going to fight another. Well, I wouldn't say he's a retired MMA fighter. He's just no one signed him. He hasn't won in the last few fights.
Can we challenge another podcast to a boxing match and become pros? And then if we win,
pretty much.
we win, we're automatically have a win under our belt as pros.
Exactly.
All right, you hear that? You hear that? Anybody want to fight us?
Oh, well, I will be happy to take that challenge.
10-second rounds. We're doing 10-second rounds.
And I think Oscar De La Hoya just picked up a fight.
We're doing 6 10-second rounds.
I gotta look it up. I think Oscar De La Hoya just picked up a fight.
Who's he gonna fight? That's the golden boy. If you're aware of Oscar De La Hoya.
Gosh, I'm trying to find the quick news because I just remembered this right now. Actually, bringing up the whole Anderson Silva fighting this past weekend with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. just came up in my head just now. Oh gosh. Anyway, I know Oscar De La Hoya wants to come out of retirement. I can't see who he's fighting. I thought they announced it, but it's not coming up right away, so maybe they didn't. So anyway, Oscar De La Hoya wants to come back and fighting. But have you watched these Triller fights? That's where the Paul brothers have been on these Triller promotion.
No.
And he's been commentating with Snoop Dogg and other people, and Oscar De La Hoya just sounds like he's not there. I think he's an alcoholic.
I think he is.
So
who's called him out on?
Quite a few people have. And well, Dana White's been calling him a cokehead.
Oh yeah, that's right. Dana White's been calling him. That's right.
And these last fights, I mean, people are like, "What is he like? He needs help. Like yeah." So he was pretty soft, I guess, during the commentating of that one. But he wants to come back and fight. So we'll see what that happens. But so again, I'm not opposed to celebrity boxing, especially like the original celebrity boxing. Actually, last weekend, the weekend before, Aaron Carter just fought.
What?
Lamar Odom? Is that the old Lakers that was married to a Kardashian?
Oh yeah.
Lamar Odom?
Yeah.
Okay. And Lamar beat him. He's like a foot taller than him.
2 feet taller than him.
Yeah, he's like 2 feet taller than him and a 1 foot reach advantage over him. And Aaron Carter, I think, is 100 pounds wet, maybe, you know, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cokehead too, I think, but...
Looks like it.
Tell me I'm wrong. But
So they fought?
They fought last weekend.
Why how come none of this is getting televised and advertised?
Well, it is.
Who's their promoters? Because this is horrible. I'm not hearing about any of this.
You're in the wrong circles, I'm telling you. So, I'm not opposed to celebrity boxing, especially like the original celebrity boxing was, I think, for charity. Like, the fighters got some of the money too, but I think it also went to charity, I believe. But, you know, these are like some washed up whatever celebrities, right? They're just kind of, you know, just trying to make a little extra scratch. And I don't hate on that. What I don't like are them taking on these fights and getting these professional records because of it. It's like, no. Not until you fight a professional fighter will I say, yes, you have a 1-0 record. But, like Jake Paul, you can't say you're 3-0 when you fought nothing but bums. You know what I mean? I don't call that a professional record. So I thought we'd play a little game. All right? So I think what would be some good celebrity matches are people that have recently, like, separated and they're dating someone else. And I think, like, the ex and the new should fight. I think that'd be fun.
Okay. Because they might have some animosity towards each other anyways.
It puts the stakes up, right? Because if you lost a relationship, you still want to show like you got it. And if you're the new beau in the relationship, you don't want to lose to the ex. Because then you want them second guessing, did I make the right choice in going out with this one? So I'm going to play this game. And we're going to ask Dale who he thinks would win out of these fights.
Okay, let's play.
All right. So I got quite a few matchups here. I think this will be fun. First one, that's because they've been in the news lately. Good old J-Lo.
Okay.
She's been in the news lately.
Yeah.
She's been passed around lately.
Mm-hmm.
She just broke up with A-Rod.
Okay, and then so she's been talking to Ben Affleck.
Again.
Yeah.
So
Ben first back.
So if you don't remember, they dated back in the late 90s maybe? Early 2000s?
Yeah.
Something like that. So who would win in a boxing match, A-Rod or Ben Affleck?
Only because Ben Affleck has had fighting training for some of his roles.
Okay, all right.
And if he was
Fat Batman?
Well, if he was working out,
Uh-huh.
because he's kind of big, like not a fat Batman, but like he's just kind of big.
All right.
When he works out, I
His
guess.
face looked a little swollen in the Batman
Yeah.
DC movies.
But I think might be some HGH involved.
Could be.
But if he's like toned ready for that role, I think he would take him.
You think Ben Affleck?
I think Ben Affleck would.
I think A-Rod would, because I think he's naturally bigger and he's an athlete. But that'd be a fun matchup. Do you think that'd be a fun matchup?
I think Ben Affleck has learned some jiu-jitsu and might take him out with a chokehold.
Well, we're talking about celebrity boxing, though.
Oh, that's right. Celebrity boxing, not celebrity MMA.
Not celebrity street fights.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Okay. That just changed the game.
Okay.
Changed the game here.
So, celebrity boxing. Who would win? A-Rod, Ben Affleck.
Okay, A-Rod's got to reach.
Yeah, I think he is much taller.
And he's got those swinging arms.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. He's swung thousands of bats and balls.
And that serratus muscle right here and the obliques.
Yeah.
That's a lot of swing involved in that.
That's a good point.
That's built up. Those swings are gonna hurt.
You're analyzing this very well. I like this.
So I think A-Rod would take him out in boxing.
So A-Rod, celebrity boxing, Ben Affleck in the street fight.
Yeah, Ben Affleck in a street fight.
Okay.
A-Rod with the gloves.
All right. So let's go back to celebrity boxing then. Let's just go back with Ben Affleck and Mark Anthony.
Oh, Ben Affleck all day.
I don't think Mark Anthony.
He's not a fighter.
I don't think he can do much.
No, he would try to
I
sing
think
his
he's
way out
also
of it.
100 pounds soaking wet.
Maybe 130 pounds.
Okay.
Maybe if he cut his hair.
Okay. All right. Fun one. Okay, next one. Kourtney Kardashian's recently in the news. She started dating Travis Barker. It's getting pretty steamy, I'm hearing.
Right.
But you know her long-time relationship with Scott Disick.
Okay.
Who would win in a celebrity boxing? Travis Barker or Scott Disick?
Travis Barker would win.
Why?
Because he's from the streets.
He's from the streets.
Yeah. Lord Disick, he's a...
He's from the toilets.
He's a pretty boy.
Yeah.
He's pretty funny, actually.
He does some funny stuff.
Like, he's kind of a douchebag.
Yeah.
But he's actually pretty funny.
He's like witty funny.
Yes.
Because he like when he was on like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, he would throw some shade and they didn't even know he was throwing shade.
He's witty. He's pretty funny, douchey, but yeah.
So Travis Barker.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Speaking of Kardashians, Kim Kardashian is going through divorce.
Okay, yep.
With Yeezy. But who would win in a celebrity boxing match? Kanye or Ray J, who made her famous? So Ray J made her famous, and she was recently. I guess they had a Keeping Up with the Kardashians type of reunion, and they asked her if they thought she'd be famous without her sex tape, and she was like, probably not.
What's kind of funny is both of these guys are soft spoken.
Yes, okay.
They're both soft spoken. It'd just be funny hearing them yell at each other.
Like talking smack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they'd be talking.
They don't. Not
soft
all fighters.
They'd be talking
talk
soft smack to each other.
Not all fighters talk smack when they've got to fight.
Okay, this one.
It does make it more fun.
I think Ray J's in more shape.
Okay.
I think Ray J would win.
I think so too. He seems a little bit more on the athletic side. Kanye seems a little more on
the mentally unstable side.
Yes, and he's on the.
He might just start crying.
He's on the physical lazy. He's lazy on the physical side.
Yeah, he can last rounds.
All right, Minka Kelly. Now bring her up because we started watching. So she's a famous actress. If you look her up, you'd recognize her. But you were just talking how you got HBO Max, and the first thing we watched was Teen Titans, and she's Dove. Like the blonde, her and the huge guy.
Oh, the Hawkman?
Yeah, and Dove.
She's hot.
Yeah, so now I knew you'd like to talk about her. So I knew you'd like that, so I brought her up.
Soft features. She has soft features.
Yes, she has great features.
I like her.
And she recently had a breakup.
Who would dump her?
Well, I don't know who dumped who, but Trevor Noah.
Wait, who's that?
He's the British comedian that turned
on Comedy Central.
Yeah, so he's a comedian and now he hosts a Comedy Central
show.
show.
Or is it The Suit?
No, it's not The Suit, but yeah, he hosts some.
Yeah, I know who
some show and
late night show.
It's very political based.
I know exactly.
Yeah, and he's British and he's black skinned.
No, he's not British. He's from South Africa.
He is. I swear I've heard him talk about England. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought I heard interviews of him talking about England, but I could be wrong. That's okay, it doesn't matter. So
now I'm all confused. I know who he is though.
Yeah, Trevor Noah.
Okay.
And
so her and him were together?
Yes. It was a little hush hush until they broke up recently.
Well, I don't even know her name or who she is in anything else besides this.
So her maybe one of her recent celebrity boyfriends was Wilmer Valderrama. So Wilmer Valderrama
takes a lot of hotties.
Yes.
He just goes around and goes through Hollywood and just picks all the hotties.
So.
And he's like,
it's his accent.
You need a date. You need a date.
He was hilarious on that 70s show, and he's got the accent, but he's actually pretty smooth. So
well, obviously,
yeah. So Wilmer or Trevor Noah, celebrity boxing match.
They both don't seem like fighters, but actually, I think Wilmer has some street cred, doesn't he?
He did those Yo Mama jokes, that
Yo
Mama show.
Yes, he's got Yo Mama jokes. He could knock him out with Yo Mama joke. That's not street cred.
That might be his only street cred.
Trevor, no. I don't know what kind of dirt he's done as a kid. I don't know his life story.
I don't either. But just going off the looks, I think I've seen Wilmer put on some good amount of weight before, like in his.
He can
his
look
arms
intimidating,
and shoulders.
I'm sure, if he puts on some lokes and trims his hair on his
Yeah.
face right, he could look scary.
So who
maybe
you got? Trevor Noah or Wilmer?
I'll just say Wilmer, just because maybe
Okay.
some weight he might have some weight
Okay,
behind it.
all
I don't know.
right. I agree. I would go with Wilmer. But another one of Minka Kelly's highest celebrity breakups.
What's her
was
name again?
Minka Kelly.
Minka Kelly.
You can't wait to look her up later.
Yeah. I'm gonna do some googling.
Derek Jeter.
Okay.
She dated Derek Jeter for quite a while.
What?
Yeah. So Derek Jeter or Wilmer. Now
Well,
you
Derek
just talked
Jeter.
about
Yeah, Derek Jeter.
You just talked about
Easily.
A-Rod. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
easily.
Okay. All right. Another one. Kristen Cavallari from The Hills and
Okay.
TV. She recently broke up with her NFL husband Jay Cutler.
Oh, okay.
They just broke up over the I think during the off season or maybe the off season before. I can't remember, but it is pretty recent. But one of her high profile. I mean, she dated a lot of people from the MTV show. I don't count them. They're all a bunch of pussies. I'm not even counting them. But she dated Matt Leinart. So, from USC Trojans, went to the NFL Cardinals, now commentates. Who would win, Jay Cutler, Matt Leinart?
Leinart.
Yeah, he's big.
Jay Cutler's a puss too.
Yeah, he is.
I hate his face.
Something about his face you want to punch.
Yeah, it's got that Napoleon Dynamite look to it,
Oh my gosh.
but not funny.
Yeah, like you look at his eyes and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Like the lights are off.
Every time. And then all of a sudden he just starts smiling and talking. You're like, where did this guy come from? And then he goes back to being blank and dumb.
All right. Here's one. Olivia Wilde
Okay.
just separated from her husband Jason Sudeikis.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they seem like a really good couple, and he's got a great show on Apple. Have you watched that Will Lasso? Or is it Will Lasso? Something like that.
I haven't watched anything on Apple. I got it, but I haven't watched anything.
It's a good show. He's basically coaching. He's like I think he's a football coach. God, I can't remember. I think he's a football coach, but he goes
Okay.
he
I've
coaches soccer.
I've seen the.
It's good. He's got a preferred second season, so good for you, Jason. Good for you.
Yeah, he listens.
But he does. He's a listener. He's a big fan of the Buko Boys. Olivia Wilde, though, she is dating Harry Styles from One Direction. He is, right? He's One Direction, right?
That's the big age difference.
Big age difference. So, Jason Sudeikis or Harry Styles in a celebrity
Jason
box?
Sudeikis.
Oh, I want him to take him out. I'd love to see Jason take him out. I think so too, though. I think Jason's a funny guy. He was on SNL, but I think he can get serious and he can knock him out.
Yeah, he looks like he'd be like a serious dad type.
Yeah, especially with the mustache he has for that show.
Yelling at Harry Styles for not doing things right.
All right, here's another one. A couple more. This one's not too new, but I saw it. I thought it would be fun to talk about. Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
She just got divorced not too long ago from Liam Hemsworth. Also dated Cody Simpson. Who would win in a celebrity?
Hemsworth.
Yes. I mean, he's not.
He's got that Asgardian.
He's not as big as Chris.
He's not as big as Thor, of course.
Right.
But
He's got that Aussie.
he's got that Asgardian
Yeah.
power.
Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
God, gosh, man.
I don't
terrible
know.
at this.
I don't know all the things.
Okay, last one. Holly Madison from The Girls Next Door. Is that what with Hugh Hefner?
Okay, yes.
She was the blonde. Well, all
Yeah.
three of them were blonde.
I know who you're talking about.
So Holly Madison. So she was on The Girls Next Door with Hugh Hefner. I think she was the most serious girlfriend he had of the three. So there was Kendra and Bridget.
Yeah.
So Holly was the number one girl, I think.
And then she went on to Chris Angel.
Yep, she dated Chris Angel and recently broke up with Zach Baggins. Or Bagans, whatever
Are
you
you
go by.
serious?
Yeah, so she just broke up with Zach Bagans and she dated Chris Angel. Zach or Chris, who would win in a celebrity boxing? This is the last one.
Chris Angel.
Chris Angel.
Yep.
Okay.
I
They're
think-
both fit guys.
Yep, but I think Chris Angel has put his body through a lot of tests
Okay.
of
True.
and he can meditate himself into like a different state. He can take on a lot of punishment.
Yes. It's different in the boxing ring, though. You can't just be like meditating in
No.
the boxing ring.
I think he could probably take some pain,
Okay.
but he could also. I think he's also fit.
Yes, he's very fit.
He's spry for his age. He's an older guy.
Yes.
You wouldn't know, but he's probably pushing 60.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up. Keep talking.
So he's an older guy and he's pretty spry for his age, but I think he could take out Zach. I think Zach would be too prissy, and he would cry every time he got hit. I think he would over exaggerate his hits.
Okay.
And then I think, I bet you old Magic Hands can take him.
All right, so Chris is 53.
Oh, he's 53. Okay,
He's 53.
Not as close to 60, but...
Zach is 44, so 9 years is junior. I think I'd give it to Zach, just because of I think Zach's bigger, and being younger would be in his benefit. I think that would be a very fun fight to watch, though.
Let's set it up.
But see, that's the type of celebrity boxing I like to see. There's some stakes here, like pride stakes.
Well, it's all ego.
Yes. So I think that type of celebrity boxing would be fun. So everyone, I hope you were playing along, and I hope you enjoyed this game of who would win in celebrity boxing. But ending on that, that brings us to our next topic. Zach Baggins and the Ghost Adventures crew was at Benson Grist Mill recently that we just investigated. While we were there, I'm going to throw it back. While we were there, we did talk with our good friend Brandy, she's got family ties to England, and we were talking about what's the difference between the royal family and the Parliament and Prime Minister. And what did she tell us?
She was saying that the Queen has the final say.
So the Prime Minister is basically the
Queen's
Vice
bitch.
President to the U.S. Like, the Prime Minister is more like the Vice President.
To the Queen.
Yeah. And the Queen really has the final say, but she'd rather prefer Parliament and government kind of take care of everything, but if things don't really go her way or they can't make a decision, then she steps in. So the Queen is still the High Almighty in the UK.
Long live the Queen.
Long live the Queen. Wait. I don't know what this is. She said something. She said she'd put her hand on her chest and say, till I die, till the day I die, or something like that.
I saw it.
Yeah, so I said, what would you do if somebody said, long live the Queen? She'd go, I put my hand on my heart, or my chest, and say, till the day I die. Or something like that.
No, not the day.
Something like that.
I don't remember. You should have got that right before you said it.
I know. So anyway, we investigated Benson Grist Mill in Stansbury Park in the county of Tooele, Utah.
I want to say this is probably like the 5th time I've been there.
This was my 3rd. So just some quick history. So again, Utah's known for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here, or Mormons, as a lot of people call it. One of their leaders for a long time was Ezra Taft Benson, and actually I've heard nothing but good things about him. I didn't really, I was pretty young when he was a leader, but I've actually heard a lot of good things about him as a leader, and I've heard a lot of different people, like motivational people, quote some of his stuff. So I think he was a pretty good guy. Anyway, his family owned this mill, and they made grist, which we talked about. We looked it up one time. It was kind of like grounding up wheat and things like that, making flour.
Wheat germ.
We couldn't find anybody that had fallen in and got ground up into it or anything, because some of those machineries are big. But the grounds it's a good open space grounds where the mill is. It's a 4-level mill, and then they brought other historic cabins and things there. I think the barn they built.
No, the barn was also
brought in? Okay. Yeah. So, and there's also a really big barn, and that's where they keep a lot of storage. The mill stuff. But it's open year-round. They do, like right now, it's summertime, they have farmers markets. People can rent it out, and like I think they do like field trips for schools there. Mm-hmm. Talk about, grinding wheat, I guess. I don't know.
Farm stuff.
Yeah, farm stuff.
Yeah, that's what they teach the kids out in Tooele how to farm.
And then, so it's a big open ground, and with these little cabins and mill and everything, all kind of scattered throughout.
They're all haunted.
Yes, and in a schoolyard or a schoolhouse, I should say, a schoolhouse.
Just one classroom.
I was showing my wife the next day. I was showing her some of our evidence. We had some pretty decent evidence, I think, and mostly experiences versus evidence. Maybe I should say that. And I was showing my wife like how the grounds were like a big open grounds, and I just found out behind it, kitty corner, is a cemetery.
Cemetery?
Yeah, a cemetery. You didn't respond to that. I posted that question.
I wanted to say I knew about it and forgot about it.
Yeah, so I posted it in our EVP group message. I was like, did you guys know there's a cemetery right behind the mill property? And Tim was like, I did not know that. So So yeah, interesting. So anyway, we hosted. So Tim, our good friend Tim, also one of our co-hosts for our EVP podcast, he rented out. We did a potluck. We had a good time. About 20 people showed up. 20 people showed up for the potluck. Maybe about a quarter of them left afterwards. They didn't want to investigate. But anyway, it was a good time. But we're gonna focus more maybe about our experiences. And most of our experiences happened in the barn. And anything besides the barn, anything you want to talk about, like the schoolhouse or the mill or any of the cabins, anything you want to talk about?
We'll talk about it, just like explain about it, or just talk about experiences.
Anything you want to mention? Yeah, experiences. I'm sure the listeners want to hear some experiences if you have any.
In the schoolhouse,
I don't.
We've just made contact with like kid spirits and a female spirit who said she was a teacher.
Okay.
And I believe that schoolhouse was on the Native American side of the mill, so it was a schoolhouse for Native American children.
Oh, I did not know that.
Everything on the other side of that bridge was all for like Native American.
So on Ghost Adventures, they were talking about how chalk has been known to get tossed around, and they brought some local Utah investigators who have said they have seen chalk get tossed. Aaron, one of the Ghost Adventures team members, he was outside the schoolhouse and he jumped inside. He said he saw a man standing outside, right next to him, outside. He saw a man and he got freaked out and ran inside. And then our good friend Tim said, yeah, he does know of that man. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of spirits that are common in that area that stick around, and they're usually the same ones you make contact with, but there's a lot of spirits that come in and out of there too.
Sure. And probably that cemetery being right there.
I'm sure that is just wandering spirits, just like how the Saltaire, the Great Saltaire, that is super haunted. There's been a few people that have died there, I'm sure, but there's a lot of spirits that kind of just congregate there because it's just a building out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm sure
abandoned.
Yeah, not really abandoned, but not used as much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure spirits just naturally wanting some kind of a shelter, kind of maybe make their way to that.
These buildings are 100 years old, so they're not the best situated when it comes to insulation and wiring properly. So there's tons of wires running throughout the building. So our meters were hard to kind of get a good reading with.
Well, they just installed there's a huge transformer or something, or a cell tower,
cell phone tower,
and then they buried wires that run along the grounds there.
Mm-hmm.
So the EMF meters, anything that picks up EMF, just goes crazy, just because everywhere you're standing, just pumping out EMFs all around you.
And speaking of that, spirits like that. That's how
they feed off that. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure spirits wandering around and can feel all this energy coming out of there. They're going to want to feed off of it, which I'm surprised there's not as much activity there because there's not a lot of physical activity there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of little experiences you'll have there, but not a lot of physical activity of things. I don't know. I've never seen chalk being thrown in there or heard of chalk being thrown.
Yeah.
I've been there 5 times now. We did hear some noises that get made, in the barn.
Yeah, so I think most of our experiences or evidence came from the barn.
Yeah.
That night.
And when you investigate this place, like you were saying how hot things get.
Temperature-wise.
Yeah. It's better to do these, when it's not the middle of summer, because holy shit. It wasn't until, midnight when things started getting somewhat comfortable to sit in for longer periods of time.
There was a breeze coming through, yeah.
But
I don't know. Back in these days, right? These people worked in the mill and there's no such thing as fans or air conditioning. These things didn't exist. They just worked. It's 100 degrees outside, and they're just stuck in this mill with the windows open.
I haven't had much experiences inside the main mill itself, besides having interaction on the Ghost Meter Pro and having yes and no questions being answered. But and then I've been in there with Brandy, and she's pointed out the spirits that she's looking at and what they look like. One time we were in the basement of the main mill, and she said they looked like a boy with some type of a Down syndrome or some kind of a syndrome that looked like he was hiding down under the stairs. Remember that door that creaked open on Ghost Adventures?
Yes.
That's the basement.
That's
the basement of the main mill. There's this little tiny door, and it's just kind of crawl space storage area that goes under the stairs. But anyways, in that back, and you can kind of see through the planks of wood through, through that whole area. I don't even know why they put a door there, really. But anyway, there's a door there, and she did see like the spirit of some boy down in there that looked like some kind of a syndrome or something.
Interesting. Yeah. So I mean, they just kind of just find it and wander in. I mean, there is a documented story of a little girl who drowned nearby in the pond.
I'm sure there's so many documented deaths all around that whole area.
Yeah.
I mean, just because they found a girl that drowned in the pond doesn't mean there's been multiple deaths on all the roads all around there.
Yeah, I looked it up. I know there was a recent death right outside of it on the road. 3 teenagers died in a car accident right outside. That was 2004, 2005, I believe. So that was, I found that really quickly when I was Googling the area. So let's talk about the barn then. That's where we had most of our interaction, was in the barn. And we went in there 4 times that night.
Because it keeps getting hotter and hotter.
Yeah, it was hot. But then, things kind of started getting a little bit more amped. So I believe the first time we went in there, the 2 of us went in, and you had your Ghost Meter Pro. And we're just kind of walking around, kind of feeling it out. Or I think the first time nothing really happened, right?
No.
Yeah, we just kind of were feeling it out. It was still a little bit of sunlight coming in.
Just looking around in there.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, kind of just gauging it. Didn't really feel anything. Also, we had a couple mediums there, like Caden, good friend Caden. He was like, yeah, nothing's in there right now. But then later, something did come back in there. So let's talk about our second time in there. It was dark this time. It was me, you, and one of our friends, Nicole. The 3 of us are in the barn, and then you're playing with your ghost meter, and you're getting some yes/no response.
Just a few, and it wasn't working that great just because of all the EMFs in there. So it, like, you turn it on, and it doesn't just turn on and then work normally. It just starts beeping, or not beeping, but just flashing, and the needle's moving everywhere.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be doing that when you first turn it on. So, it's just like going haywire, and I just changed the battery, so I know no old battery isn't the issue.
Right.
So, just all that high EMFs was just making it work funny.
So who do you think, you have an idea of who you think was kind of trying to interact with you?
Well, it seemed like it was the spirit of this girl who I had interacted with there before.
Okay.
So I would make contact with the spirit of this girl, this teenage girl there, and she seemed to like me. And it was actually it was how I learned that the Ghost Meter Pro is actually legit was with this spirit. Because what I did as an experiment was, so I spoke a lot to that spirit. We had a huge conversation and finding out who she was and kind of where she's from and just a lot of things. Like, her and I had this big long conversation. I think it went on like 2 or 3 different connections with the Ghost Meter Pro, because she probably loses energy after so long, and then it disappears and then comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I gathered a bunch of questions and information from her. Later that night, I was like, hey, you know what? I want to see how legit this is, because I don't know if it's just spitting out random yeses and nos however it wants.
Okay.
Or, if there's something in there that's just predetermining what it wants to do, and it'll just do what it wants whenever it wants. I wasn't sure. So what I decided to do was, I'm going to make contact with the same spirit again. Once I realize it's her, I'm going to ask her everything that has to be yeses. That means the whole sequence of questions I'm going to ask is everything has to be yes. And I asked about 15 questions, and every single answer she did yes.
Okay.
And no way ever, when you're working with a Ghost Meter Pro, will it just do yes answers one after another. And it did. I decided to do it that way on purpose because I've never seen it do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it always just randomly will do no's a lot.
Okay.
And yeah, sure shit, it did it.
Okay.
Yeses every single time, just one click.
Okay, so now go back. So now this time you think she was try to communicate with you again?
Yeah. So this time it seemed. It just because usually I'll ask her to come out and try to communicate, and I wasn't getting her in some of the other places that I had asked.
Okay.
And when we were in there, and I did get a connection, I kind of started asking, and I had a feeling it was her, and I asked, and I said yes. But then she was gone. And she was actually giving some good answers, like some really strong yes and no answers.
Right.
And then was gone really fast.
And she was gone, and then so the entrance to the barn is in one corner of the barn, and the barn it's just 4 walls. That's basically it. And then upper level, there's like a little, I guess you can call
storage
it
loft.
Yeah, like a storage loft. Yeah. So it's basically there's 4 walls. So the entrance to the barn is in one corner. Kitty corner, opposite corner, we heard a loud bang in that corner. It just kind of seemed, strange. So we heard that, and another a husband and wife couple were coming behind us, and they want to investigate. So we just we let them investigate, and we just kind of popped in, maybe halfway through their investigation, just kind of see what they were getting, and they said they also heard some banging in the opposite corner of the entrance, and the husband, he said that he in that corner, in the opposite corner, he kept seeing like a shadow head popping out, kind of looking at them, and the wife said, "Are you sure? Because there's cars driving by and headlights are causing shadows." And he goes, "No, this is when there's nothing going by. I can see a little head popping out." And then they heard noises, and then up in the loft, they said they heard footprints. So when they came out,
Footsteps.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did I say?
Footprints.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
hear footprints.
Yeah, footsteps. And that's why I was like, what did I say wrong? Okay, yeah. When they came out and told us this, we said, well, let's go back in. And then this time, a few of us went in. So it was me and you. It was our good friend Lurch and Caden and a couple of Caden's friends. Caden's a medium. And we went in there, we decided, let's use the Echo Vox. So the Echo Vox, we've talked about it. It's an app, and it's sweeping through white noise in a sense. What it's done is they've taken the Raven from Edgar Allan Poe, chopped it up, and then
Different voices.
yeah, with different voices, and it's just kind of going.
And then you can mix it up in a certain way. So I'll speed it up as fast as it goes, and I'll chop it up and use all the different voices.
Yeah, so you hear like a little, you hear a lot of that, right? 'Cause
It's
that's
just
how fast it's going.
Milliseconds.
Yeah. So when you hear a sentence come through, that's paranormal, most likely.
Yeah,
'Cause that is
when the
that is
voice
strange.
is carrying over multiple channels of switches, and I mean that voice from that channel had already switched over multiple times, but it's just carrying over and continuing a word or a sentence. That's crazy.
Yeah. So we were playing with that, and sometimes it's hard to hear what's coming through, and we were trying to record it. I'm trying to listen. I actually recorded the listen of this, so I'll try to play it back, see if I can get any good evidence from it. But we physically there could hear a lot of stuff happening, like words coming through. I mean,
Yeah, it's calling us F-bombs.
it called us the F word a lot through that thing, and it called a couple of our people's names, and that was with us. And again, so Caden right away heard the name of Nicole come through, and that's actually a demon that he's been dealing with in the past couple of weeks lately. He's kicked this demon out of. So again, he's a medium. He's kicked this medium out, this demon out of like 5 homes, I think he said recently.
Something like that.
And then our friend Lurch that was with us, he was provoking the spirits, like, hey, can you do something? Like, are you strong enough? And I was kind of down with that. I thought that was kind of fun. And he, so he was kind of just being a little bit more provoking and challenging it to do things. And yeah, we heard. Sometimes we heard sentences come through, but we just couldn't make out the words.
Yeah, it was a lot of syllables, a lot of words coming through, but you can't make out what they're saying.
Yeah, so we're like, I don't know what they're saying, but it was very interesting. And at one point, again, in the corner, we heard a loud noise. Now, Lurch said, did you hear that growl? To me, it sounded like if someone had like a thin sheet of metal and shook it, so it almost sounded like thunder, like a thunderous sound, like that's what they do for movies. To make a sound of thunder, it kind of sounded like that to me. And you said it sounded like something else, right? Didn't you say?
Well, just like the metal, like something like a thud hitting metal.
Knocking. So
like
we heard
like a double tap or
So
something.
the 3 of us heard it, but we just kind of heard different
Tones.
Yeah, maybe different tones to it. Again, because we have the Echo Box, people are talking. It's kind of hard to pinpoint. So
yeah, and there's a lot of people in there, so you're not sure if that noise you're hearing is this somebody rustling or somebody moving. So like I'm just ignoring all the noises just because there's so many damn people in there.
Yes.
Not only that, there could be rodents in there. So in that back corner, there's none of us over there.
Right.
And what we heard could have easily been rodents hitting things.
Yeah, it could have.
So without having like thermal cameras in that area showing like, there's rodents moving around, it's hard to say that every single noise we hear is paranormal.
It's true.
It's just it's a personal experience, and you can talk about what had happened in that time, but you're not sure exactly. There's different things that could still be that hasn't been fully debunked yet.
And I was like, did you guys hear that? No one really heard what I heard. I thought I heard some shuffling up in that storage loft, some shuffling noise. Again, it could have been a rodent up there. Yeah, who knows what? We can't say what.
Is it haunted? Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
but what's making that noise could be something living. It could be
Yeah.
something scientific.
Yeah. Now there was one point that I was standing at the entrance of the barn, and I looked back, and I thought I saw on one of the cabins a shadow person taking a step off of the cabin. And I looked back, I was double taking, like, did I just see what I thought I saw? And I can't say for sure that it is what I saw. I don't know, because again, there's some cars driving by. I don't know if the headlights cast a shadow. I don't know if it was someone walking on the trail behind to the bridge, that maybe my perception was a little off, that it looked like they were on a roof, but they were really in the background. I can't tell, but it did catch my interest. It did look like a solid black. It was dark though, hard to tell. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But at the end of the night, well, actually, at the end of this little investigation of this barn, Caden jumped out of the barn.
Oh yeah.
Saying that he felt a burn on around his clavicle, like near his neck, by his clavicle, and he pulled down his shirt. You can't really see anything, and I pulled out my video recorder and started video, and you can start seeing it get a little bit redder, and he had a scratch, 2 scratches that kind of came toward a point like a V, and so that was pretty interesting, because again, Caden being a medium, he has a lot to lose by falsifying things, by faking things. He has a lot to lose because he makes a good income being a medium. So he doesn't want to come off as false at all. So that was pretty interesting. What did you think about that?
I thought it was interesting that I'm just glad that I don't get scratches.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't want to get scratched.
Yeah, I mean, I've been grabbed, I've been touched, but I don't get scratches.
Yeah, thank goodness, right? But we have the evidence. If you follow our EVP podcast, which is evp.pod, if you go to that on Instagram or Facebook, we did post that, so you can look at that and see that. Anyway, once that happened, that ended that investigation. That was significant enough to end that one. And then right before we left, we decided, let's go back in there one more time and just to do an EVP blast, meaning we just put our voice recorder on, we just ask a bunch of questions, just give it some space to try to answer, and then play it back. Didn't hear anything in the barn. It did seem a little bit more calmer that last time, did it not? Like,
yeah.
It definitely, when we were all in there, it definitely felt like amped.
Yeah.
And then when we went in there last didn't, but we did the old shave and haircut bit.
Yeah,
So
it's worked before.
It worked before for us. We did that family tree. It worked. We did it again. So basically, if you don't know shave and haircut, and as you know, that's the response you're expecting. So I did that on the chair. I was sitting on we were all sitting on steel folding chairs, and I did that. And you hear one knock, not 2, unfortunately. So I didn't finish it, but we hear one knock. Could it be a rodent? Sure, but it was very quiet while we were in there. And as soon as we do a shave and haircut, we get one knock response.
You know what I just realized?
What?
That noise we heard, where it sounded like different things that you heard, I heard, and Lurcher.
Yeah.
Those metal chairs. If something were to hit the metal chair right in the seat while it's standing up,
Yeah.
that's the noise I heard.
If there were some of those in the corner, because it seemed like in the opposite corner
No,
too.
it seemed like it was right by us.
Oh, interesting. Me and Lurch both thought it came in the opposite corner.
It sounded like it was real close to us.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
so that noise from those chairs, right in the middle of it, with like kind of the hollowed out metal,
Yeah.
that noise is what I heard.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. You heard more of a knock. I heard more of a rumble, and Lurch said you heard more of a growl. So ours were a little bit more of a yours like a single little note.
You know
and
what?
Ours was a little.
I bet you it was me. If it was my money clip in my pocket that's magnetic, and it clipped to that chair and I moved away and it kind of popped off of it.
You would have felt that though.
Not if it's just in my pocket and I pull away from it. It would just pull the.
I also have a magnetic man.
Because I've had it happen to me where it will clip to something.
Sure, yeah.
And then like what's it called? It'll get stuck to the dishwasher.
Yeah, I've had it stick to my car. I've had it stick to a lot of things.
Yeah. But if it kind of, I don't know.
That
was the noise. That was the noise that could have. It sounded like
maybe
to
you
me.
heard.
Yeah.
I think me and Lurch heard something else.
Okay.
Because we both heard something in the opposite corner. He heard more of a growl. I heard more of like a rumble.
and what I heard sounded kind of like
a singular.
Not a singular, like the pop off and then the rumble effect afterwards. The pop and the vibrations.
Yeah, who knows? I didn't hear it right next to me.
Yeah, we need science. We need science.
I lost my train of thought. You went on that tangent, so now I lost my train of thought. We were talking about. Oh, shaving a haircut. So I replayed it. So I was recording us doing this.
We got the one sound. We got. You played it back.
Oh, so there. Yeah, actually the sound when it was just me, you, and our friend Nicole that was in there, and I heard a pop in the opposite corner. I did catch that, but it's a pop noise. You know,
it could be a million different things.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, I heard it. It sounded unusual, but it could be many things. This shaving a haircut bit was right on cue. So we were in there for 11 minutes. That's how long the recording is. We were in there for 11 minutes, pure silence for 11 minutes till I do the. Then you hear one knock. So I go to play it. We are sitting near the door because there's a little breeze coming in to cool down. Again, it's hot in there. So I hear it. I'm listening to the recording. You hear me say, "Can you finish this? Do you know shaving a haircut? Can you finish this?" I do the knocks. Right before it's about to knock, there's a breeze that comes through and drowns out the noise on the recorder. So the breeze, the breeze was louder than the knock, and it drowned it out. So I don't have that evidence, but it was peculiar that it was on cue.
Yep.
And then we left for the night.
Yep, we were done.
So yeah, so the most significant, I think, interactions that we had that night was Kaden being scratched and the shaving and haircut knock right on cue. That kind of seemed for me.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of activity, and it was we weren't doing a lot of investigating because of how damn hot it was.
Yeah, we did.
We did a fair amount, but we were like stepping outside of the buildings quite a bit.
We didn't stay inside a single
It
place
was
for too long.
Way too hot to be sitting.
Oh, and the echo box that had sentences coming through. That was pretty significant.
Yeah, that was pretty good when it was cussing at us.
Yeah, like the F words were very clear.
Yeah, and there's no F words in the Raven.
No. Awesome.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. Yes. Wrap it up now. This was a long episode, so thanks for listening. We love y'all.
Bye.